1 2 1 2 audio check.
Welcome to all the fans and guests today here at Monaco. We hope you can soak in the glittering glamour this weekend from one of the most prestigious races in motorsport.
And it's a very warm welcome back, everybody, to the Motive Racing channel for tonight's action here in the Red Arrows Racing League. We are back here for round 6 of 12 for season 13 here. And you can probably tell where we are, although it's quite an unusual time of the day to be racing here. We are, of course, on the famous streets of the Principality of Monaco here, Monte Carlo, for the Monaco Grand Prix. But it is a night race by the looks of it, or at least a night qualifying. And I would have thought probably a night race to follow. But be exciting to see this because I think I've seen one night race at Monaco before, and it was the Motive Racing F1 League on a Friday night. And it wasn't supposed to be a night race. I accidentally set it to a night race because I was the lobby host, and I accidentally set it to a night race. Didn't mean to, but hey, it was quite atmospheric nonetheless, and we've got exactly that here tonight. So it's going to be exciting. The lower temperatures could have a big impact on the drivers out on track who weren't aware it'd be a night race, if indeed anyone wasn't aware it was a night race. I myself wasn't aware, but then again, you know, I think probably there might have been something on the Discord saying it, but I probably just glossed over it. But nonetheless, coming into tonight, this is obviously round 6 of the season, but after 5 races so far this season, the championship standings are looking a little bit like this. We've got Soggy Biscuit leading the way on 146 points, 25 points clear of Poe, sits in second on 121. Then we got Super Striker in third on 113 points, followed by Steely in fourth on 95. In fifth place is Corey on 55 points. And then in P6, we've got Ross Northover on 54, only a point behind Corey. And then a further point behind Ross is Sniper C in 7th on 53 points. So 2 points separating those three. Then a bit of a gap to Joe Lancer in 8th place on 43 points. Obviously a reserve for this season, but it's shone in each of those appearances this season so far. Murph sits in 9th on 42 points, followed by Papi Giza in 10th on 35 points. ZX10 are 11th on 34 points. Fake Scouser 12th on 29 points. Then we got Yogi in 13th place on 28 points. Jordan in 14th on 28 points as well, followed by Geldy in 15th on 21. Meldav sits 16th on 19 points, with RDBCFC in 17th on 17 points in 18th place. Brams in 19th on 15 points. C. Faulkner in 20th on 15 points as well. Super Calgon on 12 in 21st place. 22nd, Brewdog on 11. 23rd is Archie on 10 points. Then we've got Boo Boo in 24th place on 1 point. The rest are all reserves who haven't made appearances yet so far this season. But IDBCFC, the first driver in this session to put a lap on the board, 110.9. So that's very, very solid there from IDBCFC. Corey goes into second place on a 11.5. So that's also obviously a good lap there. And Steely goes to top of the pile there on a 109.4 in the Ferrari. I was about to say I did a 110 flat in the Williams on career mode the other day. Come on, guys. Well, Steely's just gone and eclipsed that by half a second. So nicely done there from Steely. I'm not sure what I could have done in one of the top ranked cars, but yeah, 110 flat. I was happy with that. I got pole in a Williams, guys. I got pole in a Williams on 95 AI difficulty. I've since moved it up to 105 because that's just ridiculous. Come on, ridiculous. But Soggy Cucumber goes to top of the pile there on a 109.2. So Very nice up there from Soggy Cucumber, pushes Steely down to P2. Jordan Hillier is third and a 110 dead, followed by Super Striker in fourth. The only driver to do a lap on the mediums so far, so there's probably time in that one, I would have thought. Meldav in P5 on 110.7. ZX10 in sixth place. Now pushed down to seventh place because Archie's got into third place there. ZX10 seventh on a 110.8. IWCSC in the pits, having done that first lap of the session there. Corey comes over the line, currently ninth place on the medium tyres there on a 111.3. Youngie's done a time that's definitely not representative there, unless he's having a bit of a mare tonight. Super Striker there does a 109.3 on the medium tyres, so that is very, very solid pace there from Super Striker, really showing a lot of potential there. So I'm sure that once those soft tyres are bolted onto that car, that we'll be seeing even quicker times there from Super Striker. So absolutely phenomenal stuff there. Also got Raki in the comments, says good evening all, welcome Raki, good to see you. Always a pleasure to see Raki in the comments section. He's a ever present figure in the comments over the course of the seasons here at Motive Racing. And again, Raki, I'm meaning to get those ACC events up in the next month and a half to 2 months. So we'll be back on ACC soon. On the console side of things here at Motive, not seasons, no championships, but it will be events hopefully every week. Once we've got the ball rolling, obviously it will be a regular occurrence, but nonetheless we've got Super Striker doing some race simulation runs here by the looks of it, because as you said, he was on the medium tyres. He's now 2 seconds off of his fastest time on that last lap, unless he's going for another run. Clearly he's got a bit of fuel in that car. Soggy Cucumber is currently 700ths up through the first sector as we're now coming towards the Nouvelle chicane. Let's keep an eye here, really skimming that wall, getting in tight to that wall there. You've got to get close to it to really maximise your pace, but in the race you want to be given that a bit of a berth, because you're not going to push your luck 39 times going through that section, getting that close to the wall. You might get away with it once or twice in quali, but nonetheless, Soggy Cucumber here comes through Anthony Nogues onto the start-finish straight to complete his second qualifying run here and extends his gap at the top of the leaderboard there. Fantastic stuff there by over 0.2 of a second. Bo is in second place now as well, doesn't that good enough for P2, so pushes Super Striker down a position. Super Striker still on those medium tyres and still doing a damn good job here, I've got to say, is Super Striker. As we now come into the final sector here, let's see what Super Striker can put on the board. Here we come through Raskas and into Anthony Oakes here. In this qualifying session, we've got Super Striker now up towards the line. This would be a heck of a lap if he can get up there on the medium tyres. Goes into second place there. Only 3/10 shy, should I say, of Soggy Cucumber's fastest time so far in this session. So that is a real stonking time there from Super Striker. We've got Mike in the comments. Good evening, long time no see. BC2 also coming back with some race nights. I don't know. It depends if there's people who want to do it, mate. If you still race with the crew, then I would definitely, I'm here if you need a commentator. 100%. 100%. And I'll stream it to the Motive channel. It doesn't even have to be under Motive Racing's name. I can put whatever name you want the league to be, but if you want me to stream a league to the channel, I mean, this isn't my league. This belongs to Super Striker. And I think it's Mark Bow as well. I think it's the two of them who own the league. So yeah, Super Striker is the main man. I know that because he's the one who I always communicate with. But yes, this isn't my league. So if you fancy a league being streamed, then definitely, let me know the time and place, and I can be there to do that. But nonetheless, halfway through this qualifying session at the moment, it's still Soggy Cucumber setting the pace. Super Striker here doing a fantastic job on those medium tyres. Rocky says, all good, mate, no pressure, enjoying the stream while I practice drums. That's good. Well, glad I can provide a relaxing backdrop. I can't promise that it will stay that way, because we all know what Monaco's like, especially with the track temperatures being a little bit colder. It could be pretty chaotic indeed. So hopefully everyone can keep out of trouble and not cause any dramas here. But we all know that Monaco on the first lap is a recipe for disaster. There's 16 drivers in the session, not quite the disaster class that 20 would promise to create, but nonetheless I think there's definitely potential for problematic issues here at the start of this race. We've got Jordan here currently on a flying lap here, currently 0.3 up, although that was on the previous lap. Let's keep an eye on the split time 2 through sector 1. Jordan is a 10th up here and has done a time good enough for P5, so 109.7, 8 tenths off for the fastest time being set by Soggy Cucumber so far. And let's watch on board here. Jordan coming out of Portier here through the tunnel here under the hotel, and looks pretty tidy so far, getting very close to the barriers. Obviously you want to be getting close to the barriers because that's where you minimise the distance, but Jordan there missed the first turn by a little bit, the first apex if you like. I suppose it's not really an apex, it's more of a wall, but you know what I mean. And half a tenth up still. Jordan lost a little bit of time through the middle sector, as here he comes now into this final part of the lap here through Raskas. Bit of a slide there on the exit, and he's lost the time there obviously because he's coming into the pits. And there he goes into the pits he comes. Mike says crew kind of got abandoned. John Boy moved away, so that's one loss. Cobb disappeared, the rest on off. No championship anymore, sadly. But I saw you live, so good to hear you're still busy with comms. Yeah, still going, mate. Still going. If you got ACC on the console, keep an eye out. I would say I'd let you know, but I know what I'm like. I'll probably forget, but I'll try and remember. But if you're up for the some events, there'll probably be GT3, maybe some GT4. But there'll be weekly events, most likely endurance of some kind, because if they're not going to be a regular championship, I kind of want to make them significant in some way. So it might be there might be 2-hour races, or maybe, who knows, I spoke about it with Emo Guy, we might do some 6-hour team races every couple of months maybe. I think every month might be a bit much, but every 2 months maybe put on like a proper endurance race. Maybe do it for charity or something, who knows. And yeah, we could do that every couple of months, but that'd be something. But yeah, certainly some events on ACC on the console will be coming soon. Definitely looking to get that up, so if you're up for that, then definitely keep an eye out. So we got Super Striker out on the track now. Obviously Super Striker did a time good enough for second place on the medium tyres here, so we know he's got a lot of potential. And if you can continue that sort of form here on these softer, faster tyres, then he might be a real shout here. As Bo has gone top of the leaderboard there on a 108.7, half a second quicker than what was his previous best, and goes a tenth quicker than Soggy Cucumber, who's been sat at the top of the leaderboard now for a little while, and now suddenly he's going to be called into action here. So Soggy Cucumber's now going to have to get himself back out on the circuit. And Super Striker here just coming up the hill towards Casino Square at the moment. So let's jump on board with him here, see what he's able to do on these faster tyres. Did a phenomenal lap on the medium tyres earlier on. He's currently 400ths down on the soft tyres, so clearly must have made a mistake to that first sector, because the soft tyres are definitely the quicker tyre. There's no doubt about it, as we now come through Portier and down through the tunnel here on what is Super Striker's first flying lap on these soft tyres. His fastest lap that you see on the time board there was on the mediums, so there is plenty of room for improvement here as he nails that chicane here through in towards Tabac we go. Full commitment there, just about keeping it off of the edge of the wall there, 4 tenths up, so he's gained a massive amount of time through the middle sector there. Obviously if he had nailed that first sector and hadn't made a mistake, then who knows what this could be. But Super Striker, I think, is going to go on to provisional pole here. He might get a bit of a slipstream as well off the car ahead, and he does go on to provisional pole there by a tenth of a second. But yeah, not as resounding as I thought it could be. I think if he had nailed that first sector here, it could have been a very different story. He might get held up on this lap here, which could potentially derail his hopes of really rubbing salt in the wounds here. But nonetheless, that's a good lap there from Super Striker, our moderator and league owner here at the Red Arrows Racing League. As we've got Soggy Cucumber here coming through onto the start finish straight once again here, currently third place in this session, was top leaderboard for a while. Bo's sat in the pits, so needs to get himself out there if he wants to improve. Steely's currently in P4 in this session. It looks like it's a similar story to what we've seen over this season so far. It's the top 3 who seem to have a hold over the proceedings in most of the races, but then you've got the battle of the best of the rest here. Northover, Steely, Archie, Jordan Hillier, these guys separated by not much. In fact, Northover is actually a couple of tenths clear of this pack here. So he's done a 109.2. He's 2.5 tenths ahead of Steely, who's 5th. So Northover is in a bit of a no man's land here, to be honest. Mike says, I need to get a PS5 first. I'll try to check in on ACC. I've been so busy, so I'm not sure how I'll manage work, school and racing, but I'll see. Good to hear from you again. Yeah, you too, man. You too. If you need an invite to Motive's Discord, then hold on. It should be, if you look on the YouTube channel, and you can jump in there. The Motive's Discord is dead at the moment. It's absolutely dead. The only thing ever posted in there is the stream links for obviously this one, the Red Arrows on Monday, and I do a league called Purple Sector on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So that's the only stuff that goes into the Motive Discord at the moment. But as I say, once I've kind of sorted out a few things, then there'll be stuff going on the Motive Discord, like ACC. But yeah, it's completely dead at the moment. It hasn't seen any, I think pretty much since about June last year, there hasn't been anything on there. So hopefully we can actually get something together, but I'll be probably sending invites out to people in Discord DMs, trying to generate some interest, because you know how it is. Relevancy tends to fall by the wayside when you're not active, so we'll see. But nonetheless, we've got Bo coming through the final sector here. Currently second at the moment in this session. We've got all the drivers around him on the leaderboard are in the pits, so Mark Bo's got a golden opportunity here to try and snatch pole. 10th and a half he's got to find here over Super Striker as he comes over the line here to start what is going to be maybe one of 2 laps here, or potentially 3 if he's got the fuel and the tyres. But he has got time to do 3 laps, including this one. But Bo, nonetheless, up towards the top of the hill. And let's see what the sector time is here. Could be crucial. Well, it will be crucial. In fact, he's backed out of it. So Mark Bo there deciding that this isn't going to be the one for him. As I actually can't hear the cars at the moment. And I don't know why this is, but it's been the case now for the last couple of streams. I don't know why, because I've turned up the volume on my headphones. There's no reason at all why I shouldn't be able to hear the cars, but yeah, for some reason it's yeah, I don't know. So obviously I should have known that Mark Bo had backed out of it a while before that, because if I'd been able to hear the cars, I'd been able to hear him coasting. But yeah, it took me a moment there to figure that one out. But yeah, he's going to go for another lap, I imagine, after this one. And it will only be 1 lap that he'll have time for here. Super Striker's out there on an out lap, so is Soggy Cucumber and Northover. Jordan Hillier just starting a lap now. Let's jump on board with Jordan Hillier here, see what he's going to do. He'll be the first driver of the big guns to put in a flying lap here at the end of this session. He might get time for 2 laps altogether, albeit he'll have worn tyres for that second run. But nonetheless, here we come through Massenet, 3 tenths down in the first sector. So Jordan's got a heck of a lot of work to do to improve on P5 in the rest of this lap. He's currently only a tenth behind Northover, but I said before, the battle of the best of the rest is going to be between Northover, Jordan Hillier, Steely, maybe the likes of Youngie, Archie and Super Calgon as well. But Jordan Hillier here, already up against it, coming into the chicane. Oh, he's missed out by a country mile, that apex there. And that's going to be lap over there. It's not going to be an improvement there. No chance whatsoever there. All right, who's furthest up on their lap? Currently, Mark Bo is the furthest driver around the circuit here. Coming down the hill towards the Nouvelle chicane. As we see here, coming through this middle part of the lap there. Very, very tidy there. Got onto the power nice and early through that second part of the chicane. Oh, twitchy there as he came through to back. But holding on to that rear end very nicely through the harbour chicane and through the swimming pool now as well. And has he backed out of it here, Mark Bo? I think he may well have done. He has backed out of it, so Mark Bo's not going to improve on P2. Must have violated his lap there. Nonetheless, Soggy Cucumber on an absolute flyer. Super Striker is going to try and improve on his provisional pole position time here. Up towards the line comes Super Striker. Is it going to be an improvement? It is. He improves by 4 tenths of a second, but Soggy Cucumber is also on an improvement here as the track is rubbering in, and Soggy Cucumber can't do it. It's 3 tenths shy of Super Striker. So Super Striker there managing to extend that margin, and the track has been improving all the way up until the checkered flag here. So Super Striker, Soggy Cucumber, Bo, the top 3, with Northover best of the rest in 4th. Steely and Archie in 5th and 6th places here. Archie is coming into the pits at the end of his lap, so he's not going to improve. Jordan 7th with Youngie in 8th, as Youngie can't improve, stays in P8. Meldav 9th ahead of Murph in P10. Then you've got Super Calgon in 11th, followed by Corey 12th. There's NX10er P13 ahead of Liam, who's coming over the line here and manages to improve there, actually, up into 13th place ahead of his next tenor. YDBCFC 15th place. C. Faulkner out of the session very early on. Didn't do a representative time there. And 16th place will be his grid position for this one. So that is that for this qualifying session here from the Monaco Grand Prix here at the Red Arrows F1 League. Just a little brief on what to expect here. So with the Red Arrows League, every 3 weeks they have a what's called a tyre race. And basically what that is you have to use 3 different compounds. You have to use all 3 tyre compounds, dry tyre compounds for the race. So you have to use the soft, medium and the hards. You can do any amount of laps on them. You could do, if you didn't rate a certain tyre, you could do 1 lap on it and then just do the rest of the race on the other 2. But essentially you have to use all 3 tyres at some point throughout the race. So it kind of adds an extra element of it to it, because you have to calculate what the best strategy is and what tyre is probably not the one to do most of the race on as well, because one tyre you probably need to do a couple of laps on. So yeah, it's very interesting to see how it pans out, and obviously safety cars as well. Timing could be everything in races like this, so it really does create an unpredictable nature to the races, albeit it's very hard to keep up with, because yeah, for me to keep checking what tyres people are on and trying to work out if they've used all 3 compounds. Oh God, I tell you, it's not for the faint-hearted. I had to do it at Miami 3 weeks ago, and here we are once again here. Just a quick update, guys. Sorry about what's going on right now. It just appears that we're waiting for the lobby to proceed. So I don't know if there's any connection issues or something going on in here, but yes, something seems to be not quite right at the moment. I don't know if they're restarting the lobby, because I just saw Soggy Cucumber jumping out of the session. So it could be that they're making a new lobby here and they're just going to set the grid manually and then jump in straight to the race. But yeah, a bit peculiar at the moment. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Could be that there's one person's connection isn't there, and basically the lobby can't continue as a result. So let's just see what happens. Hallelujah. Here we are. Oh, finally, we're underway. Soggy Cucumber's jumped back in, so we'll be able to take the start, luckily for him. So here we are then, formation lap. So, as I said before, these types of races, you have to use 3 different tyre compounds. So every 3 weeks at the Red Arrows Racing League, they have a special kind of race where you have to use all 3 dry tyre compounds. So we're going to see a big mix-up in terms of who uses what compound and when. So you've got Super Striker and Soggy Cucumber getting the hard stint out of the way, the slower tyre, the more durable compound. Bo is gone for the soft tyres, which puts him in a tricky position because he has to get ahead of these two, Super Striker and Soggy Cucumber, to be able to make the most of those tyres, unless he's planning on coming in on the first lap and just doing a medium hard stint. But yeah, it could be, it could actually be the case, you know. But it's going to be tricky for Bo. Obviously, we can see Northover's gone for the hards, Steely on the mediums, Archie on the softs. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see these soft runners coming in very, very early, potentially even on lap 1, to get that stint done and out of the way. I'm not sure if there is a minimum stint length. I don't believe there is. So I think you can just, as long as you've ticked that box and said that you've used it in the race, then I think that's pretty much all you have to do. But nonetheless, lining up on the grid here, about to go racing here for round 6 of 12 for season 13 here at the Red Arrows Racing League here at Monaco. Once they're all lined up, the lights will start to come on, the engine revs will begin to rise, and we'll be officially underway here at the Principality of Monaco for the Monaco Grand Prix. Here we are, lights coming on now at the head of the grid. We're about to go racing here, and it's lights out, we're underway. And looks as though Mark Bo's got away strongly there on the inside already, ahead of Soggy Cucumber into Sandoval. And he needs to make that move on the soft tyres. He's done it brilliantly there. Northover also getting ahead of Soggy Cucumber. Soggy Cucumber dropping down the order here. Has lost out to Steely as well. Down to 5th place there is Soggy Cucumber. Jordan Hillier has moved into 7th place there. He's side by side here with Meldav. And Meldav there squeezing back through as we see a car ghosting there. Soggy Cucumber hasn't been able to take the start. Obviously, we saw him disconnect in the build-up to the race, and he hasn't been able to take the start. So that's an absolute disaster there for Soggy Cucumber in his championship battle as well. That's going to really hurt him. Super Striker and Bo are going to massively benefit from that. So Super Striker leads ahead of Bo on the first lap of the race. Bo is all over him here as they're coming through the tunnel. So he'll be looking to try and make that tyre advantage really count here at the beginning of this race. Northover ahead of Steely, followed by Archie. Then you've got Meldav in P6, followed by Jordan Hillier. There's Murph, followed by Super Calvin. Youngie has moved ahead of Soggy Cucumber's AI. Soggy Cucumber's rejoined the session, so is the game going to let him retake control as we see a chaos in the background there? And C. Fortin has already crashed out of the race, minus a front wing and some there by the looks of it, because he's clearly got damage that would not allow the car to continue the race. So Super Striker there coming through the final corner, VSC deployed, and Super Striker still leading the race ahead of Bo in 2nd place. Northover 3rd with Steely, P4, Archie, Meldav, Jordan Hillier, with Murph, Super Calvin and Youngie completing the top 10. And Soggy Cucumber is back in the car. You can see there that car is solidified, so it's no longer ghosting, which means that there is a driver behind the wheel. So Soggy Cucumber has, well, it's damage limitation here. It's a long way to go, so could be a recovery drive here in store for us tonight from Soggy Cucumber. But so far, it's Super Striker who has got the ascendancy here in this race on the slower tyres as well, has got this stint done and out of the way, and pretty much just has to sit on this lead really. We know how hard it is to overtake around this track. Mark Bo's going to have to find a gap somewhere. He's going to have to be very adventurous, because we know how difficult overtaking is around the streets of Monte Carlo. But nonetheless, Super Striker out in front at the moment. And there you can see the McLaren following him, and the VSC still out, so still limited speeds at the moment that these drivers can accomplish. And coming through by the harbour now, obviously they're all just coasting around at the moment. You have to drop 40% of your speed under the VSC, so it's not really ideal. But yeah, looks like we're back underway. So the racing speeds once again here. Green flag at Monaco. Soggy Cucumber's moved ahead of Youngie, and Youngie's made a mistake. That's why Youngie there ghosting. I thought that was a quick pass for the VSC, only just having been come in, but Youngie spun around there, got damage on the car, and it's down to P15. So that's a nightmare there for Youngie on this restart. Super Striker still leading ahead of Bo at the moment. Northover there ahead of Steely, followed by Archie, Mel, Jordan Hillier ahead of Murph, followed by Super Calgan there in 9th place. Soggy Cucumber now into the points. RDB CFC a long way behind. The pack's really strung out at the moment. for so early in the race. ZX10 are here on the back of IDBCFC as they come through Casino and moves up into 11th place there. Corey there, P13 ahead of Liam, and Liam has he got, no, he hasn't. He's all right. Youngie into the pits there at the end of lap 2, off and away on a fresh set of medium tyres. So he will need to pit again. He's not going to be able to. Well, everyone has to do 2 stops because you have to use 3 different tyre compounds, as we've mentioned. But Super Striker, nonetheless, has the lead coming through to back it on lap 3 of the race. But Bo is really keeping him on his toes. Every lap that we've had so far, there's been a VSC or a caution, so Bo hasn't been able to use the DRS down the straight to try and make a move here on Super Striker. But I tell you what, with these tyre advantages, and also one thing on this game that I think is quite good is that the DRS down the main straight is absolutely OP as anything, and I like that about this game because it kind of evens out what is a very, very difficult track to overtake. But there is something this game does very well, and that's the DRS on the Monaco straight. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. You have basically double the speed of the car ahead, and I think it's very, very appropriate and sensible that they have that, to be honest, because otherwise it would not be the most exciting of races, it has to be said. But nonetheless, we see IWBCFC in the pits, so is Corey as well, so damage repairs for those drivers, and off and away they go. Super Striker still out the front, still has a slender lead here over Bo, although it's a little bit more comfortable than what it was on the previous lap. It's over half a second now between these two. Bo though keeping him on his toes still. There's North over there on those hard tyres, still keeping him very much in contention at the moment, and Steely also in the background there. But these guys all on the tyres they started the race on, so is everybody from first down to 12th place at the moment. Everybody from 13th downwards has come in and changed onto another compound, but everybody needs to pit twice in this race, as previously stated. Here we come then through Anthony Noakes here, about to complete lap 4 of the race, and Super Striker looking pretty comfortable at the moment with almost a second of a gap here over Bo. So settling into a rhythm right now is Super Striker. I tell you, he seems to be under control here at this point in the race, and that's what you want to see here from the race leader, and probably soon to be championship leader, based on what's happened to Soggy Cucumber so far here tonight. Into Mastonay we go here on lap 5 of the race. Race starting to settle down a little bit now. Gaps are starting to form. Drivers are starting to find their place here in this race. Soggy Cucumber down in 10th place, the championship leader coming into tonight. Has had a few very strong races where he's been utterly dominant so far this season, but this is not what the doctor would have ordered here for Soggy Cucumber. Has a 25-point lead in the championship, so this isn't going to be the be-all end-all as it stands. Super Striker currently leading. Super Striker was third in the standings before tonight, so Bo's the one in second place. The only way that Soggy Cucumber could lose the championship lead tonight is if Bo were to win and take the fastest lap, and Soggy Cucumber were to finish out of the points or crash out. That's the only situation where Soggy Cucumber could come away from Monaco without the championship lead here. 25 points he's got over Bo. Super Striker a further 8 points behind, 33 off of the championship lead in third place in the championship. So a long way to go, but Soggy Cucumber here will be wanting to score at least a few points here to maintain that championship lead. But Super Striker here with a 2-second lead because Mark Bo has been into the pits for some fresh hard tyres. So Bo started on the soft tyres, is now on the hards, and we'll be putting the mediums on for the final stint. Probably, I would have thought, will be coming in about 20 laps maybe. To put the mediums on and go to the end. Might want to try and time his pit stop with a safety car, because we know what this track's like, so I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a safety car or a VSC at the very least, and in which case Bo would be in a prime position. As long as we're within about 20 laps from the end, he'll be able to get a set of mediums to the end. So the guys on the hard tyres for their middle stint are actually in quite a strong position, because you can essentially wait for a safety car as long as it's within your range, because too early and you won't be able to get a set of mediums to the end, or a set of softs for that matter. But Meldav into the pits to put some hard tyres on. Nonetheless, off and away he goes. And Super Striker still with the lead at the moment over Northover. Steely putting pressure on the back of Northover here in this battle for second place. Bo now into 9th place ahead of Meldav, who's now out of the pits and away again. And Super Striker extending the gap over North Dover, lap after lap. Now 3 seconds between them. Steely putting pressure here on North Dover on those faster medium tyres at the moment as they're coming through the tunnel. Keep a close watch here as they come down towards the Nouvelle chicane. A little bit too far away is Steely, but we've got to watch out for that start-finish straight because we know what the DRS is like down the start-finish straight at Monaco. It's absolutely insane, like it needs to be, because without it, you have no hope of any overtakes. And Steely's just dropped out of the DRS here in the final sector. Can he get back within it here in the final corner? Let's keep an eye. I think he might have just fallen out of range. Yeah, he did. So not able to get the rear wing open down the start finish straight. So the cucumber here, nonetheless, looking to the outside now. Super Calgon into turn one. Super Calgon pushed him into the wall there. Oh, he had to back out of that one. Squeezed him to the edge of the track there. Oh, I tell you what, Soggy Cucumber had to be on it there to avoid getting pushed into the wall. I thought for a second there that was going to end in tears, but Soggy Cucumber still. Oh no, he's crashed there, coming on the Exeter Casino, loses his wheel. He's just went into the wall there on the right hand side. VSC deployed. That's going to mean that has anybody put the mediums on for their second stint who started on the soft? Because those drivers will be able to put the hard sign, go to the end from here. Let's keep an eye out, because I need to see if anybody put the softs on and then went onto the mediums. If anybody did, they're going to be in a really strong position here, I tell you. Let's have a look. Liam has used all 3 tyre compounds. Currently running in 13th place. Liam has used the soft, mediums, and now the hard tyres. So Liam doesn't have to pit again. This could be massive here. Liam will be running in P12, obviously, once he clears the stricken Soggy Cucumber here. So this is massive here. This is a huge turn up. We see Steely into the pits, so is North Dover, Jordan Hillier, and Murph as well. But wow, this is going to really spice things up. Now, has anybody else done the soft, medium, and hards? I don't think they have. Steely's now off and away. That's only his first pit stop, so he started on the mediums, now he's on the hards. Has still got to use the softs for the final stint. Murph's put the hard tyres on as well. That's 1 stop done for Murph, I believe. So yeah, currently Liam is the only driver who's used all 3 compounds, I believe, and can go to the end. So you've got a few drivers here who have used three different compounds. Archie has and Youngie has, but in terms of who can go to the end here, Liam's the only one who can go to the end. So that's going to be enormous here for Liam, and if he can get to the end on those hard tyres, then he doesn't need to pit. Has the rules within the rules that he's always used all the compounds. So VSC has now subsided, and we're back underway here at Monaco for this one. So it was only a VSC here, which means he doesn't get the benefit. I would have thought, obviously, if it's a safety car, then he would have got a massive benefit from that. But nonetheless, Super Striker has a 12-second gap here out the front over Super Calgon. And Super Calgon there has inherited P2 due to a lot of drivers coming into the pits, making the most of that VSC. Super Calgon has kept going for the time being. Hasn't stopped yet, so Super Striker and Super Calgon, the only 2 drivers who haven't come into the pits so far here in this race. Just to let everybody know who's just joining us, if you are new to the Red Arrows Racing League, you have to use 3 different compounds in these races. Every 3 weeks they have a special event, or it's part of the championship, but you have to use 3 different dry tyre compounds. So it makes it extremely interesting and very difficult to keep up with, I'll tell you that. But there's 2 drivers who haven't pitted yet, and there's 3 drivers who have already used 3 different tyre compounds. Of those, Liam is the only one who can get those hard tyres to the end of the race, having put them on just a lap. 30 laps on the hards around Monaco. It's not very high on the tyre deg at all. I've done this track the other day, and it's 2% max per lap tyre wear, so it's it's not going to be an issue for him to get those to the end. But right now, Super Striker in the pits has put a set of tyres on. Let's see what he's put on. He's put the soft tyres on. So Super Striker going for the soft for the second stint. Comes out in P2 as well. So in a really strong position here is Super Striker. North over there coming through Sandevot turn 1. Can't get him. So Super Striker holds on to track position there. I think had to come in there because otherwise he wasn't going to be able to cover North over off. So that was a case of do it now or lose a position there for Super Striker. And that now leaves Super Calgon well out in front and in dire need of a safety car because he hasn't been into the pits yet and still has to use both other sets of tyres over the course of this race. But Super Striker and Northover will be appearing on him in a second, and Corey's out of the race. So that's another retirement here. We started off with 16 drivers here tonight. We're now down to 13. As Jordan Hillier is on the back of Beau as they come through the Nouvelle chicane. Still a little bit too far away just at the moment. Corey has left the session, obviously, predictably there, having crashed out of the race. But here is Super Calgon here coming through Anthony Noakes here on lap 11 of the race, about to complete lap 11, has got a 2-second gap. Super Striker is absolutely eating into that gap. That gap is disappearing out the front. Super Striker's got to be careful here because they're on very different strategies, and Super Striker's got a lot more to lose than Super Calgon has at this point, so just needs to pick his moment here. He needs to be very, very careful when making this overtake. Is he going to make a move here to the inside into Massenet? No, he thinks better of that one. Very sensible. Where is he going to be able to make this move? Maybe into the Nouvelle chicane? But he need a good exit out of Portier. So here we go then. So let's watch on board here with Super Striker. Got to make this move soon. Is he going to go for a late braking move? No, he's not going to do it here. So he's going to have to make it down the start-finish straight. As I said earlier on, the DRS is very, very strong around here, so you would think he'd be able to make it quite comfortably. As they come through the swimming pool chicane here and up towards the Raskas and Anthony Nose corners, ghosting through a back marker there, which is RDB CFC. Oh, and Super Calgon coming into the pits there, so saving Super Striker the stress of having to try and outbrake somebody on the narrowest street circuit on the F1 calendar. And Super Striker there is now released into the lead here, with Northover in second place, putting a lap there on the Williams of RDB CFC, as we see Super Calgon now onto the hard tyres. So now just has to run the soft to the end of the race. So Archie's been in 3 times. Wow, incredible. Jeez. Just looking at the leaderboard, if we have a safety car, I'll tell you one man is going to benefit. Liam running in P10. I've said it before, but if Liam on the hard tyres can go to the end, which he should be able to do because 30 laps on the hard isn't much, with a safety car he'll be P10. He'll have all the drivers in front of him. Saying that though, you'd need the safety car to be soon, because otherwise these drivers could just come into the pits for fresh tyres if that were to happen. VSC's out, so somebody's had a crash. RDB CFC's crashed, so that now means that everybody has to go a bit slower, so that might be a prime opportunity for people to come into the pits for some fresh tyres. Is anybody going to take the bait? Not so far. All the leaders staying out. Oh, here comes Mark Bowe. So Mark Bowe started on the softs, then he put the hards on, so now he's going to try and do the rest of the race on the medium tyres. That would be a heck of a feat here for Mark Bowe. If he can do that, I tell you, that would be phenomenal. I don't know if that's going to be possible here. 27 laps on a set of medium tyres might be a little bit much, but Mark Bowe's... Oh, God, as he hits the barrier there coming out. Oh, my goodness me. He's might have a bit of damage there as well. So, what, I mean, the medium tyres has about 3% wear per lap around this track, so his tyres would be about 80% by the end of the race. Around this track, it'd be borderline undrivable. So I don't know if Bo's going to have a chance to be able to get these tyres to the end. But I think he might try it. He's eligible to finish the race on these tyres anyway. Doesn't need to come in again, regardless. And he's definitely within range of the leaders here. So it could be a possibility for Mark Bowe to go to the end here. But Super Striker doing the pace at the moment on these soft tyres. Northover is losing time to him all the time. He's coming under pressure here from Steely as well, who's really putting in some steely determination here on the back of the Red Bull. You can see the Ferrari well within that DRS range as to come out of Anthony Noakes. A little bit too far away to put him under pressure here into Sandoval. There's that OP DRS there getting him actually a little bit closer, but not massively closer there. as they came into the turn one. But so Steely here trying to put the pressure. Obviously, North Dover's soft tyres will be starting to feel a little bit of the pace at the moment. The hard tyres of Steely will be still very, very brand spanking new and feeling plenty of tread underneath them. So Steely will be looking to try and force the issue here on the back of North Dover pretty soon, you would have thought. And I would say that the softs would probably on paper still have slightly the edge over the hards at this point, but in a couple of laps time I think those hards will be definitely as strong as those softs, because those softs obviously wear out at an alarming rate. As you see them coming through the Nouvelle chicane here, so City's still right there on the back of North Dover right now as they come through into the back. Bow in the meantime has come out in P8 since that pit stop. We believe he could probably go to the end on his medium tyres. They are going to be shot to pieces by the end of the race, but he can go to the end without risk of a penalty. But they're going to be absolutely hanging on by a thread by the end of this race if he can do that. Steely nonetheless is still all over the back of North Dover, but can't find a place to make that move. It's just typical of Monaco, really. Strategy plays such a huge part in these races, and that's why this 3 tyre compound rule that they've got here at Red Arrows League is actually fantastic, because it just opens the race up massively. And you really have to think. It's not just about driving fast, it's about thinking on the fly. People really showcasing their strategic skills. I'll tell you what, if there's any F1 strategy departments watching these races, this could be a real talent spotting arena here at the Red Arrows League, because those who can outsmart the rest with their strategy here tonight could be what the F1 teams are looking for, especially Ferrari of a couple of years ago. But nonetheless, Steely here looking very close on the back of North Dover as they're coming out onto the start-finish straight here, 3 tenths apart. He's going to have a chance, surely. He's going to have a think about it, but still just a little bit too far away. It just goes to show how close you have to be to make the move into turn 1. 3 tenths of a second was the gap as they came out of the final corner, and that still wasn't enough. You need to pretty much be where he is right now coming out of that final corner to have any chance of making that move into turn 1. Always looking down the inside is Steely, but again, you just can't overtake around this track. It's borderline impossible. It really is. Mark Bowe also suffering similar frustrations there in 8th place. He's on the back of Super Calgan. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen there. The gap 4 tenths of a second, but he's obviously experiencing a very similar situation to what we see Steely unfortunately having to undergo at the moment. 11 of you currently watching here on YouTube, and you're currently watching Steely really struggling to make this move here on the back of North Dover as they come through the harbour chicane now into the swimming pool once again. Bit of a slide there from North Dover. Those soft tyres now starting to feel the pace a little bit. Coming through Raskas. How is Steely keeping this together? I don't know. If I was in this position right now, I would be getting a hot sweat and probably end up crashing as a result. Do bear with, guys. I'll be very, very quick with this one. So we've still got Steely all over the back of North Dover right now as they come through the Lowe's hairpin. But at the moment, North Dover's just been holding firm to all of these advances here from North Dover. In the meantime, Mark Bowe is very close on Super Calgan there as they're coming into Massenet. Coming up to the halfway point in the race, Bowe doesn't have to pit again, but the thing is, he needs to be within that catchment of Super Striker. He needs to be able to come out ahead of Super Striker at the moment. The gap, I think, might be over a pit stop here. It can be close. Let's have a look and see. He's currently 23 seconds behind Super Striker, so he needs to get ahead of this Mercedes ASAP. Here we go, looking to the inside, it's the back. Oh, he thought about it there. He had to just back out of it. Almost got his nose chopped off there by Super Calgan, who continues to maintain this P7 at the moment. Mark Bowe went for it, couldn't quite make it happen. Here we come through Anthony Noakes. He is right on the rear wing of him now. Is he going to have a chance here? Surely this is going to be his best chance in these last few laps. God, if I was him, the temptation I would have to just launch it up the inside and just hope that the driver in front gives way. But there's always that chance. There's the probability that they won't give way. There's Archie's out of the race here. DNF on lap 19 of the race. And Bo's still not close enough to make this move at the moment. And Steely's still continuing to experience similar frustrations right now in second and third places. This track is just impossible. It really, really is. Bo looking very close. I tell you what, he might have a golden opportunity here. He's right on the bumper here as he's going to send one up the inside into the New chicane. This is going to be job done here for the McLaren. Surely this time around. No. Wow. Oh my goodness. He somehow manages to keep onto that Super Calgon here up the inside into the back. Bo's going to make this move. Is he? No! Oh, and there's a collision between the two of them. Super Calgon closed the door there. I mean, you've got to try it, haven't you, around this track? I think they've got damage turned off. I'm pretty sure they must have. How on earth has Bo not got massive damage? Well, it looks like Super Calgon came off worse in that one. And Super Calgon into the pit. Somehow Bo has got away with limited damage. He already knocked his wing coming out of the pits a couple of laps ago. So how on earth he's still got those M plates? I do not know. But yeah, Bo continues on his way. Ends up making that move. Not the way he would have wanted to. And Northover still has got Steely and Jordan Hillier all over the back of him right now. And Meldav isn't too far away behind as well, currently running in 5th place. And will be gaining on these all the time whilst they continue to be stuck behind Northover. So over halfway through this Monaco Grand Prix tonight, here for the Red Arrows F1 League, this special 3-tyre compound race. Every 3 weeks, rounds 3, 6, 9 and 12 this season will all be 3-tyre compound races. So everybody has to use all 3 sets of the dry tyre compounds that are brought to the race that are available to the drivers. Obviously in most Grand Prix you have to use 2 different compounds, but the Red Arrows admin thought, you know what, let's add an extra twist. And so far it's presented us with some very exciting strategic differences. And obviously around a track like this it does really help to add to the racing. But currently Super Striker out in front has a 12-second gap right now over Northover. Northover's still got a trade of cars here. Steely, Jordan and Meldav has well and truly joined the party here. King Macca says, any idea how long the pit lane takes here? It's the shortest pit lane on the calendar, King Macca. I think it's about 20 seconds you lose in the pits. If it's a VSC, about 12 seconds. If it's a safety car, probably about 10. I would have thought around that anyway. But I'm not absolutely certain. But nonetheless, this is a heck of a train of cars here. Northover, Steely, Jordan and Meldav here battling over second place for the podiums here. And Northover finally coming into the pits to put those soft tyres away. And coming in for his final pit stop here. The medium tyres going on. Off and away goes Northover. Back out into the race. Now, has Steely come in for 2 stops? No, Steely's only coming for 1 stop. So, still has to put the mediums on for the final stint. Jordan, I think, has to put the hards on for the final stint. So we'll have to come in pretty soon, you would have thought. Meldav also has to put another set of tyres on. I think, is it the softs for Meldav? I can't remember. Honestly, I've lost track. The stream's here, so we can obviously look back. The admins can use the stream to police the 3-tyre compound rule. But Jordan has to put the softs on. Ah, okay. So Jordan has to extend this stint a little bit. Okay. Well, Jordan has dropped off of Steely a little bit on this lap. I don't know what's happened to him, but clearly he's had a little bit of a scruffy first part to this lap. Still got Meldav in hot pursuit, but Steely's just managed to break away a little bit there in second place. Meldav keeping Jordan very much on his toes at the moment as they're coming through Anthony Noakes here, about to start lap 23 of the race. But Steely now looking a bit more comfortable in that P2. Does have to pit again, we know, for some soft tyres. So Steely and Jordan in a similar position, albeit they are Currently 1.7 seconds apart. They both have to put the soft tyres on. Their tyres are going to be handling pretty similarly at this point as well, because the mediums will have worn out a little bit. The hard tyres will still be pretty good, but naturally the hards are slower, their potential is slower. And Liam's out of the race. Liam, I don't know if it's a crash or if it's a retirement. Let's see if we can find his car. Riding aboard with S13, who's one position behind Liam, so let's look out, see if we can spot a Red Bull in the wall somewhere. Oh, you can see skid marks there, skid marks at the chicane, so yeah, you can, no, it wasn't there actually, no, because he hasn't passed him yet on the timing board. He's passed him there, so Liam obviously lost it into Tabac, and his car's already been cleared, so that should be underway again. Now this presents an opportunity for those who still need to pit to come in and get a half-price pit stop here. Super Striker is going to come in for his final stop of the race. Steely, I think, probably will be coming in as well, you would have thought. No, staying out is Steely, going for track position. Is he going to get track position here? It's going to be quite close here with Super Striker. Steely actually might be able to take P1 here. He does, yeah, and Jordan Hillier into second, so Super Striker comes out in P3, albeit doesn't have to pit again. Steely and Jordan have to pit again, but if we have another safety car, this could massively benefit Steely and Jordan. Although saying that, the field spread won't be enough for them to come out in a good position. They come out right at the back. So I think Super Striker's still definitely in the pound seat here. Super Striker just has to get it to the end here, pretty much. He's in the box seat right now. It's a tricky one, but if I was Steely and Jordan, I'd come in this lap before they meet the safety car, because they come out in P5 and 6 if they came in now on the soft tyres with 14 racing laps. That's doable around Monaco, easy. The softs last about 15 laps around Monaco, so they could probably come in at the end of this lap, I would have thought. Anyway, if I were them right now, I'd be boxing for the softs right now. But they are staying out, I think, by the looks of it. Yep, they are. In fact, no, it's not safety car. Sorry, it's VSC. Oh, for God's sake, why do I keep thinking it's a safety car? I'm retarded, sorry. Yeah, Steely still has the lead right now. Jordan in second and Super Striker all over him on his fresh tyres, so Super Striker will be wanting to make this move as soon as possible. He's going to look up the inside here into Massenet. Oh, he's going to send it there and spins Jordan round. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And they continue on their way, but Super Striker doesn't want to be taking too many risks like that, because he doesn't need to. Unless Jordan's in cahoots with Steely to try and get in the win, but here goes Super Striker through the tunnel we go. That's job done there, up into second place. And obviously the net lead as well, because lots of drivers still have to come in and make their final stops. Steely has to come in. Jordan, Murph have to come in as well, so yeah, plenty of drivers still need to come in and make their final pit stops here. Oh, in the meantime, it's up into fourth place because Murph has lost it there going through Raskas, so Murph has got damage there. That front left end plate is missing and he doesn't come into the pits. I think generally with an end plate, that's a slam dunk. Get yourself in the pits and get it replaced. But Murph is continuing on. See, Youngie's moved ahead of ZX10 up into 9th. And ZX10 had a moment there actually going into Massenet, so went wide onto the runoff area. But continuing on his way, currently in a points playing position. Obviously, there's plenty of incentive for drivers to finish the race here. Meldav's moved ahead of Murph up into P5, into the Lowe's hairpin. So Meldav there making a rare move around Monaco. Northover now looking to try and attack on Murph. Obviously, Murph has to pit again. So Northover, we wanted to get this done ASAP, and in fact, Murph is waving him by there, lets him pass. I wonder if he let Meldav pass as well there. So Meldav and Northover now into P5 and 6. So Jordan has to pit, so does Murph, so does the race leader Steely. And Super Striker here is looking to try and make the move for the lead on Steely, but realistically, Super Striker just has to sit tight here and just bide his time because he doesn't have to be in a rush here. Steely has to come into the pits, and we know how hard it is to overtake around here. So Super Striker just needs to be patient here, and not get overcome with frustration. Sit tight and just wait for Steely to come in, because Steely has to put the soft tyres on for the final stint. When he does it, it's up to him. But you would have thought that we're probably in that window now where you could get the soft tyres to the end quite comfortably. So I wouldn't have thought it would be too long until we see that Ferrari sporting the red wall tyres. In the meantime, Northover still putting Meldub under tremendous pressure here for P5. But we know what overtaking is like around here. You can be putting somebody under all the pressure in the world, but it's not going to win you the race necessarily. It's not going to get you the position necessarily. Northover tapping the wall there a little bit. Don't know if that would have incurred some damage. In the meantime, Super Striker still unable to make this move. Although he's looking to the inside now, into Massenet, sends one down the inside. Still, he gives him the space. Great racing from those two. Phenomenal stuff. That's how you do it. That's how you drive around Monaco, side by side. Steely there gave him the space on the inside. Super Striker was down the inside and made that move fair and square. And Steely knew it and gave him that space, which you're supposed to do in racing. And that is a textbook display of how to go side by side around Monaco. That is how you race around the streets of the Principality. Fantastic move there from Super Striker. Bow in the meantime on the back of Jordan. Obviously, Bow in the net second place because Steely and Jordan both have to pit. That was a hiccup. I apologise for that. But Super Striker here coming over to start lap 29 of the race. 11 laps left to go here. Coming in towards the closing stages of this race tonight, as Jordan's into the pits to make his final pit stop. It'll be soft tyres going on for Jordan. Steely currently sticking with it at the moment, but will be following suit shortly, I would have thought. Steely will be wanting to be coming in the next couple of laps to avoid getting undercut here by Jordan as well. But Jordan was a fair way behind. He was about 8 seconds behind, so Steely could probably give it about 3 laps until he'd need to be coming in. So he probably, well, he should be okay. Should be okay. I wouldn't have thought Jordan would be able to overhaul that in a couple of laps. And here we go, Steely coming in to cover off the Haas, who's currently coming through the Nouvelle Chicane right about now. But closing laps here at the Monaco Grand Prix tonight for the Red Arrows F1 League. A fascinating race we've seen here for the 3 different tyre compound. Variety of race. Always throws up some excitement. So everybody on the mediums, barring Steely, Jordan and Murphy on the softs, and ZX Tenor on the hard tyres. And that's the situation with the penalties. So Steely has got 3 seconds. Jordan Hillier with 6 seconds worth right now. Super Calgan, sorry, should I say 3 seconds, and Youngie with 3 seconds as well. So the top 4 all without penalties, and they're all good to go to the end here. Super Striker has been a class act on the track here tonight, and will close the gap in the championship to 8 points as things stand. If he's got the fastest lap, it'll be 7 points. Bo will move to within 7 points of the championship leader as well, Soggy Cucumber. So this has really blown the championship wide open, with Soggy Cucumber crashing out of the race. It's brought these two now well back into contention again. It just goes to show how one race can really make the difference here in a championship. Soggy Cucumber's been very consistent and has put in some dominant performances this season, but tonight has undone a lot of his hard work. It really does ebb and flow with the F1 points. By saying that, do you know what? I shouldn't be calling it, because actually I do believe they use their own point system here at Red Arrow. So I'm going to have to actually go back. I'm going to have to take back what I've just said there, because actually they do use their own points. I've just remembered. So it's not the F1 point system they use. But nonetheless, no matter what, these two are going to gain points on Soggy Cucumber. So regardless of what happens, there is going to be a major cut in the points gap. But not to the effect that I think I was speculating a few moments ago. But well, not to the exact effect, but to a similar effect, should we say. Steely's out of the race. So Steely's crashed out somewhere. I'm not sure where. Oh, there we go, through the Nouvelle chicane. So you just saw the Ferrari there parked up in the barriers. And they're going to have to be careful here. It's been cleared now. Super Calgan goes past there as he came through, and the Ferrari of Steely was still parked in the barriers at that moment. But Steely has left the session, and it's so agonising to get to this point in the Monaco Grand Prix, where you're about 80% of the way through the race, and to been at this point, that must be absolutely agonising. It really must. Obviously, at this point, the concentration does start to dip a little bit, and it can't be surprising that stuff like this happens. But it must be really annoying when that happens at this point in the race, when you've been going for the best part of 40 minutes, and then just a moment like that just kills it. King Macus says 9 remain, wild race. Yeah, we started with 16, 7 retirements so far from this Monaco Grand Prix here at the Red Arrows Racing League, and to be fair, it's by no means the worst that I've seen. I remember one time for the Motive Racing F1 League, F1 2021, we had quite a bad attendance to begin with. I think we had 12 people turn up to the race, and we ended up with 3 finishers. So, yeah, don't worry, guys. There's a long way to go. There's still time, to be fair, still time. But unless we have 6 drivers crash out between now and the checkered flag, I think that it's safe to say the record is intact, or is safe for the time being. But who knows? You know, maybe next season. Hopefully not. But yeah, records are there to be broken, said Michael Schumacher. But Bo's still leading this trio of cars here, battling for second place. Meldav and Northover looking very hot on his heels, but Bo just has to park the car in the way, because ultimately it's a case of track position means everything around this track, and it's just a case of making sure that you're in the way. There's one thing that the drivers behind you can't do, and that's go through you. So as long as you're parked in the way, you should be okay. So here they come then once again through Portier, and out through the tunnel area they come once again here. So Bo has got a solid position here, obviously being the track position. We know he's on the medium tyres, and Meldav and Northover are also on the medium, so they've all shared similar strategies, albeit I believe the start to the race was slightly varied. The result is they've all ended up together on track here for the final few laps of the race. To lose this position, but never say never. Meldav is very close. is very close here into Sandoval, but you have to basically be touching the rear wing of the car coming out of the last corner to have a chance of making that move. The DRS not as OP online as it is offline. I've noticed when you're racing against the AI, the DRS is extremely strong around Monaco, but online it appears to not be the case to the same effect, which I guess makes some sense. I suppose online you would expect to have somewhat more authenticity, whereas offline I suppose it's generally about player experience. Online you want it to have some fairness and some actual realism. Meldav's going to send it, I can feel it, says King Mackers. Do you know this, King Mackers? Who's told you? He had the inside scoop from Meldav himself as he tipped you off this premeditated attack that he's about to orchestrate on the back of this McLaren. See Bo there tapping the wall. So did Meldav, to be fair. They did exactly the same thing coming out of the swimming pool chicane. Here we come then into Anthony Noakes, and he's too far back this time. Tell you what, if he were to send it from here, then that would be an attempted murder charge. Yeah, currently they're still holding position at the moment. Super Striker is well out the front here with nearly a 30-second lead. What a drive it's been from Super Striker, I tell you what. Got to take my imaginary hat off to this driver here who has totally demolished them over the course of this race. Has never looked back, has looked completely in control since the beginning of this race. And yeah, it's been superb. It really has. Meldav still putting the pressure here on the back of Bo. Bo knows that there's going to be he's going to gain massive points on the championship leader Soggy Cucumber if he can hold on to this position here. Doesn't need to do anything heroic or spectacular, just needs to stay where he is, and it will be a job well done here for Mark Bo. Super Striker with 2.5 laps left to go, coming down the hill into Mastonay once again. King Mackers said Jordan joining the fight, shame about the penalty. Yeah, Jordan's not far away at all, is he? I didn't even notice him until you mentioned him there, Mackers. But yeah, he's only a couple of seconds behind. But I fear that even without the penalty, I think his hopes of gaining a position would be somewhat scarce, just down to the fact that overtaking is practically impossible around this track. It's unless the driver in front of you makes a little mistake or waves you by. We've seen a few drivers tonight actually letting people past. So you know, we've seen a lot of people doing that to G's and not wanting to get into a collision, because the thing is, when you've got somebody right behind you, quite often you do get frustrated, and I think that drivers in front have been aware of that and have wanted to not wreck their race. It's a case of living to fight another day. So we've seen a few drivers waving the person who's attacking them behind past them, but I don't think that's going to happen now, because this is for some good points, and with only a couple of laps left to go, I think there's a lot on the line here. Mark Bo is going to fight this with everything he's got. Meldav very close again there down the straight, but too far away. Penultimate lap here, maybe thinking to roll the dice here is Meldav. I'm not sure where Meldav is in the championship, what he's got to lose here, but Bo with a lot to lose. But then Meldav might not want to get involved, knowing what Bo's got on the line here. Super Calgan has crashed out of the race on the penultimate lap of the race, or actually what's actually the third to last lap there for him. But back to this battle for second place here with a lap and a half left to go here in this race. Super Striker is just coming around to start the final lap of the race. What a dominant display it's been from Super Striker. In the meantime, we've got to go back to this battle here. Meldav's dropped a little bit off of Bo on this lap. I was saying that, closing right up through the chicane. Really giving it everything here. This is surely going to be his last chance down the start-finish straight this time to make this move. Here we come then, through the swimming pool once again. Meldav is going to have to send it down the inside into Sam Devot. Bit of a tight line through Raskas. That's not what you want to be doing through there, and I think that chance has gone begging there. Bo should be able to hold it on for this final lap of the race. Northover sensing the chance for a podium, but I think it's going to go begging here. Jordan in the background, not able to make inroads, but Super Striker coming down the hill towards the Nouvelle Chicane for the final time here in this Monaco Grand Prix at the Red Arrows Racing League, this special 3-tyre compound race, which is supposed to create a bit of unpredictability and increase the competitivity amongst the grid. I tell you what, Super Striker missed the memo because he's just got off and gone here. Nobody's been able to even challenge him or get close to him tonight. Super Striker coming through into Anthony Noakes for the final time, and he's going to cut the championship gap massively to Soggy Cucumber. Super Striker over the line, takes the checkered flag, and is your winner here at the Monaco Grand Prix for the Red Arrows Racing League here for season 13. Well done to Super Striker, fantastic drive tonight. Bo is going to hold on, I think, the second as we're half lap left to go here, coming out of the chicane through to back here for the final time. Meldav hasn't really got any places he can make this move. Northover is just going to have to follow them home, I think. Jordan there in the background will take home a creditable P5. But Bo here through Raskas and Anthony Noakes here now. And this is now it. The checker flag is out for these guys. Bo is going to come home in second place. Meldav third with Northover over in fourth place. Jordan P5. Murph, Youngie and ZX Tenor all finished the race, but a lap down in 6th, 7th and 8th places. 8 finishes here for tonight here at Monaco. What a race. But what a drive there from Super Striker. Absolutely phenomenal stuff there from him. Really, really great drive. Looked totally in control for the majority of that one. Yeah, didn't put a foot wrong. Flawless from Super Striker. But that is that then, guys, for tonight here for the Red Arrows Racing League. That's halfway point in the season now. And I'll be interested to see what the championship standings are after this race. We'll obviously be reading those out at the beginning of the stream next week. We'll be live at the same time as always. It's one of the US tracks by the looks of the standings sheet. Let's have a look at the calendar and see where we're going to be. Next race, round 7, will be at Circuit of the Americas, Texas, for the US Grand Prix. So join us at the same time, 8 to 15 p.m. UK time next Monday for that one. We're not going to be live for the rest of the week, unfortunately, guys. For those of you who usually join us on Tuesdays and Thursdays for Purple Sector, they're having a break week this week, so no more action this week, but we'll be back as always next Monday for Red Arrows, so tune in for that. But thanks everybody. We'll hopefully see you back on the channel next time. Red Arrows, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see you at Texas. Cheers.